Hey, it is a brand new day, and once again, we've come to the Marbella Marina. The kids are already here. What a great way to start off the summer. Paddle surfing, sailing, everything you can organise from the Royal Maritime Yacht Club, which is at the main entrance, together with the Harbour Restaurant, which are both open to the public. So do pop in, particularly now that we're recording our Marbella Now TV shows here every Tuesday. Do come on in, say hello, and get yourself on the telly if you want to. We've got a great show lined up for you, so let's get this party started. The kids can't wait to start. Take a little look.
Let the music get to your heart. Let it set you on your way. No time to hesitate. We are all the same. So much trouble tearing us apart. Poison arrows shoot straight to your heart. We can change if we try. Just believe it's worth your time.
Last week in my Marbella Moments column in the Euro Weekly News, I took the opportunity to write about people who are not on the town centres. Now, I know a lot of people myself who, although they do spend quite a bit of time here in Marbella, albeit that they live in other countries some times of the year, they are in Marbella enough time to be on the town census. Now, the town census, what it does is say how many people are living in the city, and based on that figure, the central government allocates money to pay for cleaning the streets, policing, healthcare, etc., based on the inhabitants of the city. Therefore, if you are spending any amount of time in our city and are not on the padron, there is no money to cover your health, your policing, your insurance, all these things that make our city clean and tidy. Now, a lot of people are scared that this means if they're on the town census, they're going to get taxed, and as they're paying taxes in their own country, they're very nervous about this. So I wrote my column in the Euro Weekly explaining that most of our lucky people, to not say all of them, because I haven't spoken to all of them, but everyone I have spoken to is on the town register. Why? Because it gives them healthcare, it gives them all the benefits of our city, being able to use all the installations, etc., but there are no risks. They are not here legally, therefore if it was a risk they wouldn't be on the town padron because they'd be scared of being deported. As this is not the case, I hope this shows you that you will not be taxed and there are no worries of being on the town census. It is only positive for you and for our city. Thank you very much. The name says it itself. Knitted knockers. Yes, knockers that are knitted. And the lovely Maria Bailey is here to tell us a bit more about it. Maria, thank you. We first met at the United Nationalities and Marbella Summit.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing this marvellous project. I mean, congratulations. What a beautiful thing to do.
Thank you.
Helping other people feel beautiful.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful. Maria, can I ask you first where you're from? What's your story? What brought you to the coast?
Right. Well, I'm originally from the UK, from the northeast of England. We came out on holiday to Spain several years ago and just fell in love with the area and the culture and the language. We moved out in 2004. Homesickness took me back to my family a few years later because the family didn't come with me, but we came out again about 5 years ago and settled down. The reason I got involved with this is 3 years ago I had breast cancer diagnosed very early thanks to routine mammogram, which is a big message, has to go out to people, go for your mammograms. Had surgery, radiotherapy and everything, but didn't need a mastectomy, so very grateful for that. My mother had needed a mastectomy 10 years ago, and I was sitting on the terrace one afternoon, bored out of my tree, thinking, what am I going to do? There must be more to life than this. I'd taken early retirement, and I read a small article in the local newspaper about this invention, knitted knockers. Googled it, found out all I could, and I said to my husband, well, that's my next project. Little did I know I'd end up being president and everything that involved with all of that. But I'm the sort of person, if I do anything, I've got to do it right, and I've got to do it properly. And I was advised that to be taken seriously, we need to register, we need to become a charity. So that's what we did. That was 2 years ago. We've come on in leaps and bounds. And just to explain, a knitted knockers is, as you said in the introduction, a knitted breast prosthesis. The idea to form knitted knockers as it is now was by a lady in America in Washington State in 2011. She'd had a mastectomy and was horrified she had to wait so long for a silicone prosthesis even. And somebody told her that you are able to knit them. The feeling she got of having one of these in a bra, she just thought, I want all women to be able to share this. So now, 7 years later, there are over 500 groups in 27 countries around the world. And we are one of 2 small groups registered in Spain. We provide for the ladies of Spain and beyond. We are listed as the suppliers for Morocco and Algeria. But if we get requests from anywhere, we will fill that request.
So the idea in the sense of you can, through the medical industry, get what would be normally this type of prosthetic?
Ladies are normally provided with one silicone prosthetic.
This is a lot heavier than this.
This is our equivalent. These are hot and sweaty. You need a special bra for these, which cost a lot more money. So these have a pocket that they sit in the pocket.
So that would go into the special bra.
These would just sit in your ordinary bra. There's no need for these.
So in this country, I mean, the sweat value on its own must be just the...
Absolutely. Well, one of the recent orders went out there just last week, and we had an email back from the lady yesterday saying, I'm in heaven, they're so light, they're so comfortable, and I haven't got a sweat rash. And I'd never thought of that before, and I thought, yes, this sort of thing next to your skin, hot and sticky, will give you a sweat. These are donated by ladies who no longer want them because they've discovered the benefits of knitted knockers. So these are made in 100% cotton. We make them to cup sizes, so different sizes. You put your order in as to what you want. The filling is non-allergenic, so they're 100% natural.
And they can be washed.
They go in the washing machine and can be used again and again. And we only use the best material. We used a Katia yarn, which is quite expensive. And people have asked me, well, try this yarn, try that yarn. But we tried quite a few different brands, and Katia is the one we use. We do use their logo on all our advertising, and they have supported us by giving us quite a lot of yarn when we started off. The beauty of it is as well is it's made by volunteers and completely free of charge to anybody who wants them.
Really?
So for example, next week I'm delivering 4 to a lady who's had a double mastectomy. So we always give 2, one on, one in the wash, the way we would always do it. But if a double mastectomy, you give 4. And the difference in... So
how do you stay alive then if you're giving these away? And I know you've got the volunteers doing the knitting, but you've got to buy the yarn. I mean, how do you stay alive?
From donations. We've been very, very fortunate in that the Lions gave us our first couple of donations, and since then people like Ali Mian of Costa Women has had a few events to support us. We've had a couple of donations from churches. We've had there was a Soul Yoga group down in Almeria. They had a charity day for us. 500 euros at a time we're getting in now, which really helps us to keep going. But we need the money coming so we can buy the yarn to keep the production going. And it's working well at the moment. But the biggest thing we need, apart from the money, is promotion, to get people word out there of what we supply, what we do, and to get ladies to ask for us.
Exactly, it's just knowing that it's there, in the sense you're giving them away, which is absolutely beautiful. People can give their time. Do you need knitters as well? Yeah,
we do need knitters. It's not an easy thing to do. They're knit on 4 needles, and we are quite particular. It has to be tidy and neat. But yes, we can need knitters, but more importantly, as I say, we need ladies to come forward to ask for
donations and awareness that the people who need them know that this is available.
We want ladies who've had mastectomies to have a choice, and you can't have a choice if you don't know, so it has to be an informed choice. So, and we're not saying throw that away, we're saying try these. Some ladies still use these for certain events or certain dresses. Some ladies prefer to use these, but it's all choice. But you can't make the choice if you don't know these exist. Okay. We also provide what we call V cushions or heart cushions for when people have had surgery, and they literally just go under your arm.
Oh,
so it's that
bless you.
support. These have been going like hotcakes since we've teamed up with a charity in Malaga called Asama, and they're specifically for ladies who've had breast cancer. They have a link with the local hospital in Malaga, so they go every time there's a breast clinic on, they go with a table. They now provide these in a pack for people who've had mastectomies. They have an information pack, and they now provide our knockers in the pack, which is a big step forward.
Do you have people also that have gone around to speak, I imagine, to all the local hospitals and healthcare centres?
But what we need is to find a person in each of these places who will take the idea on board, because a lot of the doctors, the oncologists, are too busy. The ladies will whip them out, look what I've got, and they go, oh yeah, that's nice. Next, they haven't got time. So what we need to find is a dedicated nurse in these places who has got time, or a receptionist, even to have our information on display.
So you could do with volunteers for that as well, to just actually go visiting the places to find out who's the person in charge, and to follow up on those type of things as well.
That's another thing I need. More than knitters, what I do need is volunteers who will help me with the admin, help me with the promotion, because I do a lot of it myself. I have got a few ladies dotted up and down the coast, but for when there is an event, somebody else can go along, and somebody else can take posters around and leaflets around. So if anybody down this area, for example, I haven't got anybody down this part of the coast, anybody's willing to give time, help with promotions, fundraising. I don't know marketing, I don't know fundraising.
So you need help in the Marbella area, San Pedro, to let everyone know. Well, we'll do our little bit.
Brilliant.
We hope that you will do your little bit, and count on me for whatever I can do to help share the information.
Well, I'm sure
Maria.
this sort of publicity
it's
will help.
It's a good start.
Yes, well, that's what we need.
But like everything, we just have to keep it going.
Keep
everyone telling them. And if you would like to help Maria to get the information out, or if you would like to be an outlet here in Marbella, or to get involved with admin, administration, social media,
that's it.
Get the word out there.
Need. There you go. And as a memento, though, we make these. These are mini knockers, little key rings with a pink ribbon for the breast cancer. That's a gift to you.
Oh, thank you,
darling. To remind you of what we do and who we are.
I don't have a key ring. Now I do, and what a perfect one, because it is a perfect reminder that we want to keep our knockers.
Yes,
and that we should help everyone. Be very grateful for what we've got.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Maria, thank you so much.
Thank
I'm so happy for you, proud of you.
Thank you.
And we women need to stay together, and you guys can help us.
It's a sisterhood thing. It's sisters helping each other, which is
Hashtag
lovely.
Better together.
Absolutely.
Let's make me knockers.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you. Spain is famous for its wines, and then in Marbella we have the most amazing restaurants that have selections of wines that we really do want to try. And of course, Marbella is famous for our nightclubs, for going out and partying, but it's important to do so responsibly. And I'm so delighted to say that a lot of our local companies have jumped on board our Zero Hero incentive. The idea is if you're going out with 3 friends, if 3 of them are drinking and one of you is the designated driver, you shouldn't be punished for doing the right thing. And that's why I'm delighted to say that nightclubs such as Tibu and clubs as Babylonia, Portside, are giving this incentive all their support. Other places that you can go to, the Boardwalk, the Harbour, Beckett's, the Playwrights, the Red Chiringuito, the Urban Boutique Villa, the Hard Rock Cafe in Puerto Banús, the Kempinski Bahia Hotel, K Padre, the Mexican in the centre of town. There are so many places that say, yes, please do come and have a good time, that they want you to go back many times. And the best way to do that is, step 1, keep yourself alive. 147 nationalities, all driving on the same 27-kilometre coastline. And so that makes it tricky to start with, but then we go out and have a drink. Maybe we haven't got all the attention with us that we should to make sure that we're driving to the best of our ability. Also, Linear Director Road Traffic Safety Foundation is supporting this with the breathalyzers that I'm going to get out now and show you one, because the participating businesses will be giving you one of these. And at the end of the evening or the lunch, if you blow in this and you haven't been drinking, you don't pay. Pretty cool, huh?
Hey, hey.
big thank you to CIT Marbella, that fabulous networking association grouping together actually businesses here on the Costa del Sol. More than 500 companies covering over 80 different professions. But this one is unique. This lovely lady, Alejandra, has come to us from the Santa Maria Polo Club in Sotogrande. And how cool is that? I mean, just that itself. Welcome, Alejandra.
Thank you very much, Nicole.
It's very exciting. I, in Madrid, live near actually a polo club, which is not the most common thing in the world. So I do actually have a little bit of an idea. But I think a lot of people here in Marbella don't realise that half an hour down the road, we have an enormous polo club with all the installations. And so I'm very honoured that you joined us. Did it take you long to get here?
No, half an hour.
Really, is that literally half an hour?
Yes, if you take the A7, the club is situated just off the A7, exit 133 to Torre Guadiaro, and we're there. You can actually see the fields as you're coming down, and you see Gibraltar at the end, and you see the fields in Sotogrande. That's where we are. And
so there's no getting lost. It's very simple. It's that wonderful one road that really takes you from Gibraltar to Madrid, actually. There's one long road. So it's easy to get to. And now tell us, why do we want to go? Why would we want to go to Sotogrande, to the Santa Maria Polo Club?
Well, you must come because we've got the 47th international tournament beginning on the 25th of July.
47th? I mean, you say 47. That like 47. That's,
yes.
Is that you've been doing this for nearly 50 years? Could that really be the case?
Yes,
wow.
It is. The polo began in Sotogrande in the 1960s. It actually began in the area of Gibraltar at the end of the 19th century. But some families that lived in Sotogrande decided to keep on playing there and begin a social event, a friends event of polo players and teams. And they gathered up every summer to play the Copa de Oro, and then this sport began to grow and grow and grow in Sotogrande until we've got 3 copas, Copa de Bronce, the Bronze Cup, Copa de Plata, the Silver Cup, and then Copa de Oro. And it runs for almost a month and 5 days.
Wow.
Of polo every day.
So this year, starting on the 25th of July, until the 1st of September.
Yes.
So that is a long stretch. Almost every day there are going to be polo matches?
Yes, we've got, I think I've counted 34 days of polo. We probably only have 2 days of rest this summer. And we not only have the polo, we have a shopping village, we have concerts, so it's a big event that's going to go on for the whole summer.
So whether you go for the whole thing or just for one day, there's always going to be something to keep you interested. Now, I asked you before, do you know much about polo? But it turns out you actually know a lot about riding. You yourself were a competitive rider.
Yes.
I mean, that's exciting. A pretty little girl like you doing.
Well, I used to be a show jumper, which is a very different world to the polo, because the polo is a team, and it's a different sport, because polo is almost like football or rugby. You have to you have the goals, and you have to work in a team to get to the goal, and you can actually push, which is something you don't do in show jumping. And I have done a little practice, a polo practice, and it's fun. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to play, but it's extremely exciting.
Tell us a bit about, I know we're sidetracking a little bit, but I am interested to know a little bit more about your life as a show jumper, because that's a very strict, controlled, the amount of practice and dedication that takes between you and the animal, that bond that you need to create. Can you share about how you started getting into that world? What was your inspiration?
Well, I started riding here in La Costa del Sol, in a small stable in Churriana, and these stables were owned by British people, so I very soon started to go to England, and I participated in the pony club in the summers. And then when I finished high school, I decided to start university in England so I could ride more and more and more. So I did everything. I did eventing, I did hunting, and then I got the chance to ride for a family and train the horses. They were located in Alaurín, but we competed all around Europe. And I had the chance to compete some very good horses and be trained by the best trainers in Europe, and that was very exciting as well. And it is it is a sport in which you make a bond with a horse. It takes like 6 months until you bond well with this animal, and you're two in one. Yes.
You've changed slightly now. You're together with the Santa Maria Polo Club. What do you do there? What are your responsibilities? What's your day-to-day like?
Well, I started in Santa Maria working in the polo office, and that was organizing the tournaments, organizing the teams, communications, a little bit of everything, just being there for the riders, also for the spectators, so that they knew that we have tournaments. Also, I was in charge of the stables and where each team would locate the horses in our stables, help them with anything they need, because we've got riders that come from all over the world. We've got riders from Sweden, a lot of riders come from England, a lot of players, because they're players rather than riders, from France, from the United States, from South America.
I mean, this is a sport that really is unlike any other, because it's one thing if you're taking your players around the world, but with this sport, people take their horses, not a horse, but they all have these teams of horses, teams of player. You really have to be financially secure to enjoy polo.
Very much.
I mean, if you want to meet who's who of who's who, Soto Grande is the place. I mean, it's serious money.
Yes, you need, for the low handicap, players use at least 5 horses for each game.
For the lower handicap?
Yes, because they need to change constantly. A horse is fine for 1 minute and a half, 2 minutes. Cantering and exercising, then they need to change. And the high handicap players will bring up to 12 horses each. So that make the maths.
I bet the transport companies are delighted with you, all this shipping backwards and forwards.
A lot. And the trucks are huge. The trucks are very big, and you see them all around Soto Grande in the summer, coming up and down, up and down. And so you will have in the palenques, which is where they prepare the horses at the end of the field, you will have 40 horses in one side and 40 horses in the other.
Wow, so if you're an animal lover, it's certainly, I mean, there's so many reasons to go. You've just had the women's polo tournament.
Yes.
Now, it's a very macho sport, polo, but obviously not, because it was a very successful event. Loads of players came. It must be very rewarding to see that you have not only established and created, but are maintaining this pull, this excitement to come to Soto Grande.
Yes. And yes, women are coming very strong in this sport, which used to be a man's sport. And now we've got 8 teams of 4 women each team playing, that they have been playing this last weekend. And they are players that are coming from all over the world as well, and players with a very high handicap. This tournament was just a feminine tournament, but sometimes women and men play together in teams, like the weekend before.
Yes. See, we're missing so much. Thank heavens that CIT Marbella put us in touch, because now we will maintain that contact. Coming up for this event, it starts on the 25th of July, goes through to the 1st of September. We can go and pay no money, just go in, get yourself a little refreshment, hang out, look at the horses, enjoy the games, or there are options of going into the grades, going into the specials, VIP seats, going into a box. Explain a little bit about the format of what we can, when we go there, how we can spend our day, because it does sound like a really nice day outing.
Yes, we open at 5 o'clock every afternoon. We've got a shopping village, so you can also do other things. When we finish the matches, we will have music. Concerts, different DJs that are coming, so you can spend the whole afternoon there. You don't need to get a hospitality if you don't like to. You can just get your drink, go to the stands, but if you want to come with a group of friends, you can have a private box, or you can watch the polo from the grandstand, which is the best view, and that will have obviously a
higher price.
But you will have a welcome champagne, you will have lots of lovely things to eat, and a very good service. So
well, it is a sport of kings, and if you want to feel like a king,
I recommend it.
I mean, it does sound like one of those things. What should we do today? Do something different. It's very important to do something different. Learning a little bit more about polo, it's so close. As you say, it literally took you half an hour to get here.
And one thing that I don't want to miss is saying is that it's a family atmosphere. Children are very welcome. They've got lots of space to play. You can bring your dogs. Always keep them on the leash, but dogs are welcome.
Well, that's nice to know.
Yes, and we only charge on the semi-finals and finals. That's only 7 days out of the 34, and that would be €5 and €10. So it's not much. It's a day out if you want to
So
do
it
something
really is for
different in the
everyone.
summer, and it is for everyone. Casual dressing. You don't need to.
Or you
come
can dress
with
up
your,
if you
or
want
you can
to.
dress up. In fact, we're preparing a ladies' day, so
that's nice.
This is getting organised. So
We need to go to the website,
Yes.
obviously, to check out the updates and all
Yes.
this information about which days it's
yes.
on, the different
and
matches.
also we're very strong on social media. So if you want to find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, we try to keep up with all the information as well.
Wonderful. Just one last thing. On a day-to-day basis, when you don't have this cup going on, is the polo club always open? Can people go and visit? Can people learn? What is the general?
Yes, we've got
of the
the
club?
stables, we've got the club. You can phone us if you want to have to receive polo lessons. We are actually now working with companies that are bringing their staff, their executives, to have
Like
polo
incentives.
clinics. Yes, we have, because we have such a big space that, and we're so near to Marbella that it's a different thing to do. It's a new thing to do. So you only have to phone us, and we prepare something made to measure, tailor-made.
Sounds wonderful. And the summer is long.
Yes.
It's nice to know that there are things we can do on your own, with a couple, or going with the whole family, or just you and your dog. It sounds
Yes.
wonderful. Alejandra, thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
No, I won't
Nicole.
even say coming all this way, for popping down the road from Sotogrande to Marbella. And we look forward to seeing you all at the Santa Maria Polo Club.
Thank you very much, Nicole.
Thank you, darling.
It was a pleasure.
Oh, and for mine as well. Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the Zero Hero.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you. The last time we had the pleasure of welcoming this young lady to the show, we were in full swing of the fair in Marbella, San Bernabé. It was so much fun, dressing up, dancing around. A little bit calmer today here at the Sea Grill in Puente Romano. But I wanted to come along because Marisa, who is not only the Danish consul, she's also a lawyer with Just Law, has agreed to come on our show every week to share information that is obviously interesting for our international community, particularly those of us who set up home here. So we've taken advantage that Marisa's going to have lunch here, and we've just nipped in with the cameras to say, I hope you're not too hungry. Going to be actually looking forward to trying the Petit Sea Grill, because it's lovely how Puente Romano are adding these new little bits in, which is always fun. Marisa.
Yeah.
I am always myself interested in looking at renting to buy.
Yeah.
This is something, I've owned a house here, we've been renting in Marbella for quite a few years, and thinking now, well, maybe it would be nice next time to rent something, see if you're in the right place, because often you don't know if you're in the right place for a good year, gone through all the different seasons, to then buy it. Is that a common thing that you can get here in Spain? Is that an option?
Yeah, it's an option. According to the law, it's completely right, and you can do it, you can afford, but it's a complex operation. That means that you have to have in the same contract a rental contract and an option to buy in the future. And you have to accomplish some circumstances and a few conditions to do it. But of course, it's an answer to try to avoid the bank mortgages, for instance, not the bank loans. Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting, I hadn't thought about that, right, because if you're paying your rent and that's going towards obviously the final purchase fee, is there a set laws of how this needs to be done, or is it just for buyer and seller to work it out between themselves?
they have to work between themselves, but it's some condition that has to be done in the contract for sure. Has to be a price for the rental, and the full price could be for part of the purchase price or not, or just 90%, half percent, whatever you want. But the point is that you have to pay a deposit. That is very important, to pay a deposit at the beginning of the rental contract, and is something that we call an option of purchaser, that has to be done on the right way and the right time. Otherwise you lose all your rights.
So it's very important to make sure everything is written down, but every single detail. A lot of people tend to do these things without a lawyer. If they're foreign, it's even more dangerous than if you're a national, because there are so many rules, regulations. Who is the best off when you're doing something like this? Would it be the purchaser or the seller? I kind of think in Spain, yeah, it's the person who's renting that would have the upper hand, perhaps.
Okay, well, in this kind of renting to buy, I think there's more advantage for the purchaser, or in this case for the guest that is using the house. For the vendor or for the seller, it's something that has to be very carefully, because everything has to be right on, everything has to be very established, because if you have someone in your house living and paying, it's quite difficult, you know very well. It's quite difficult in Spain to take out from there. So we always advise to get a lawyer, and if it's possible, it's better that the purchaser has a lawyer, the buyer has a lawyer.
So each one have separate lawyers to avoid conflict of interest.
That's it. Because they can manage, between lawyers, we can manage very well, because we know we have in the position of the other, but we know that we have to accomplish with some requirements, some condition to be sure that your client's rights going to be for sure guaranteed.
I know sometimes we look to avoid extra costs, and maybe being offered to share a lawyer by the salesperson could be attractive option. However, I feel that the advice is so different, particularly in Spain, where it's so hard to get people out of a home. Marisa, if you were giving advice to the person who owns the property, who wants to rent it out with the option to buy, what would you recommend for the owner of the property?
Well, for the owner of the property, it has to be very clear how the rental is, and if the renter can become one day in an option of buying. In that case, you have to be very carefully that in case that he doesn't pay, the rental contract is not extended forever. But otherwise you can have someone forever, or just very hard to take it out from your property. And of course, you can have a guarantor to make sure that all the payments can be done.
Because if they don't pay, because it's hard to get them out as well.
That's it. And in case that doesn't pay, you have a third person that's going to pay for that. And in case that they don't going to accomplish with the option, with the option of sale or in that case of purchaser, at least you have to keep all the rental money as an indemnity for the time that he is living there. Otherwise, he's going to be living there for free. You know what I mean? Then you lose your money, you lose your time, and maybe you can lose your property.
I'm beginning to understand why there are very few options to rent with buying afterwards, because you are very vulnerable in Spain.
That's it. But if you do it the right way, that is a way, it's an answer for the people that are in a hurry to sell. And some people that buy, they cannot get a loan now, but maybe in 2 years' time they have money because they are selling a house, or they are waiting for an inheritance asset, something like that,
So it's important, whatever you're doing, get a contract. And just to make this very clear, we've got a lot of foreigners here, and a lot of us are used to seeing that we've been given translations of the contract, and therefore we don't even get a lawyer to read them over. However, the valid contract is the Spanish version, and the English version you're given doesn't necessarily reflect the Spanish version, you need to get this checked. You really do need to have a bilingual lawyer.
That's it. Because sometimes what we used to do is to sign both. But of course, if you have to go to court, the Spanish version is the valid version. So it has to be very careful. It's not just, okay, oh, my neighbor is going to translate it into English. No. Legal terms are difficult in English, are difficult in Spain, and interpretation could be very, very, very hot point in a trial. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Marisa, thank you very much.
Okay.
If you have any legal questions, any doubts that we can help you with, please do drop us a line and we will pass them along to our Marbella Now lawyer, justlaw.es, if you'd like to visit their website. And Marisa, hasta la próxima.
Hasta la próxima. Thank you.
Did you know that the government actually makes loads of money from us foreigners, the tourists who don't know the local laws? And unfortunately, ignorance is no excuse. I would like to remind everybody that now during the summer months, you can only take your rubbish out from 8 o'clock at night till 11 p.m. Between 8 and 11, particularly for those perishable rubbish that can smell. We don't want rats, we don't want cockroaches, we don't want infestations. We want a clean, nice smelling city. So it's really, really important, please, that you remember to take your rubbish out only between 8 o'clock at night and 11 p.m.
Good evening and welcome again to our little spot for AAA here on the wonderful program with Nicole. Again, we're in this wonderful harbor restaurant in the harbor of Marbella. Today I have a doggie with me, but she's not for adoption because I'm going to talk to one of our dog walkers. I'd like to introduce you to Jerry Johnson. He's lived most of his life in Spain, right?
Yeah.
And he's been dog walking with AAA every Saturday. Jerry, how did you get to AAA?
Well, Jan, the guy who mostly directs us in AAA and the dog walks, he came over to my school and he introduced the whole concept of dog walking, and I've always loved dogs and I've had dogs at home. And I wanted to help the community, and he said come and help anyone who can because we need the help. And that's where I started really. The next Saturday I went straight away there and we started at 10 a.m. and it was one of the best experiences I've had.
Why is it such a wonderful experience?
Oh, you meet so many new people and you learn so much, not only from other people but from dogs. And if you really like animals and dogs, you get to learn more about them as you want to do. And it's exercise and it just makes you feel good, and you can go back home, and if you're tired you just take a nap, and you just have your plan for Saturday morning every morning, and you know that you're going to have a good time and you know that you're going to see dogs, and it's wonderful all in all.
So it's not only like a giving experience.
No.
You're not only there for the dogs, but you're also there for yourself, for
Absolutely.
a wonderful experience for yourself.
Met so many different people from everywhere, and it helps if you're learning languages. You find people from everywhere just to train that language, and you get just knowledge. You get into this community, and it's so tight knit at some point if you go regularly that you just become so close, and you support each other, and it's a family.
So you're building up a part of a family from not only the people that work at AAA, but the volunteers that come on the Saturdays.
Absolutely.
And do you have any special dogs when you when you have a special dog there, or of course sometimes there are dogs that appeal to you more than others, and then you get to walk them regularly on Saturday?
Yeah, you build a connection with one specific dog, for example, that's extra loving, or you like the look of it, or it's just a kind heart. Well, all dogs are kind souls. I have my favorite Paloma, I know exactly where he is, and I always tell Jan in the morning that anytime that this cage goes, can I go with them? Or I see someone walking my favorite dog and I ask if I can swap. But as long as all the dogs are getting walked, at the end of the day, that's the most important part, I think.
How many hours do you usually walk?
It depends on the amount of volunteers we get. It's the best if we get a lot of volunteers. I'd say about 4 hours is the usual amount. 3 to 4 hours, you know, it's unless you can walk 7 or 8 dogs, or then you can walk 1 or 2. It's all the help that we can get, really.
And are there usually enough volunteers on Saturday, or not always enough?
Not always enough. That's we need more regular people. Of course, we always accept any people. We have quite a lot of people actually who only come here on holidays and they know about the place, and it surprises me a lot that they come on holidays, but that just proves how amazing the place is, because they're here for only 2 weeks and then they're at AAA 2 times, you know,
on the Saturday,
and they
yeah.
just because they just love the experience so much, and I don't blame them at all.
No.
I would also come, as I do now. I study in university in London, and I'm coming anytime I can on a Saturday. I will come back. And yeah, just we need more people, really.
And in the summer we're starting a little bit earlier, right? Normally it's around 9:30 that the people arrive. It's now moved back to about 8:30, I think.
Yeah, 8:30.
Because of the heat, we always like to walk the dogs on the Saturday morning, and starting at about 8:30, everybody is always welcome. As Jerry is saying, it's a wonderful experience to be able to get to know the dogs, to get the people, to make new friends from a lot of different countries as well. 8:30 is a good time in the summer because, of course, of the heat. As Jerry said, it takes about 4 hours if there are enough volunteers to be able to walk all the dogs. There are about 400 dogs to be walked. There are also some special dogs that need to be walked by special people because they are falling underneath the Dangerous Dog Act, and they are pit bulls and Staffordshires and dogs like that. And there are people that come specifically on Saturday to walk with those dogs because they're strong, they need a little bit of extra care. But anybody else is able to walk most of the dogs. There are little ones, big ones, puppies as well. The children that come, preferably not under 12 years old, will have to be walking with their parents because of insurance purposes. You'll never know what happens, and we've had a few times that a child would let go of the dog and the dog would disappear. Luckily, they came back. But so there are certain rules that we need to consider when people walk the dogs. But as Jerry was saying, it's a wonderful experience.
It really is.
Thank you very much, Jerry, for being there all the time. You also have sponsored with your school, virtually adopted some of the dogs.
Absolutely.
Which is also a wonderful idea to do. You can, with the school or privately, virtually sponsor one of our dogs. Go to the website, you can see how it is being done. Become a member of AAA, because not only the physical help on Saturday is extremely welcome, but of course becoming a member or virtually sponsoring a dog is one of the greatest things you can do on an ongoing basis. There are many ways to help AAA. If you're not able to adopt a dog, or if you're not able to come and walk a dog, there are different ways of sponsoring AAA, and it's all on the website. So thank you very much, Jerry, for everything you do for AAA and for being here. I'd like to thank you for watching us, and next week I will be here again with a doggy for adoption. And remember, don't shop, adopt. Thank you, bye.
Last week I came to Puente Romano with my friends who are over from Miami, Colombia, because I wanted to take them to a really special place, and we discovered that the Sea Grill in Puente Romano has now opened the Petit Sea Grill. I've come back today because I'm meeting, as you've seen, our lovely Marisa Moreno, who not only is the Danish consul, but she is a Marbella now lawyer. Sergio Sanchez is in charge of the restaurants here, and seeing him walking through it, Sergio, let's take advantage to explain to everyone the new concept of Le Petit Sea Grill. Thank you so much for taking a minute. I know you're so busy, Sergio, but this is so exciting. I really like this place. Because you don't have to have a full meal, but you get the exquisite 5-star of a little bit of everything.
Right, thank you very much for giving me this little time actually to explain you what it's about the Le Petit Sea Grill, because honestly for me it's an honor to explain to you, because it's one of my favorite, or actually my favorite restaurant so far at the moment. Why? Because it's if we need to actually define the concept, it will be like dynamic, it will be like quality, and easygoing. Easygoing in a way that is very easy to eat in here. In here, you eat like tapas, but they are sophisticated tapas. And the concept actually is like little touches of quality at a very special low price, in my
Yeah, it
opinion.
really is, and I'm always saying this, it is not what you think here. I mean, obviously, there is a price, but it's not as expensive as half the things in Marbella, and yet you have the best. And that's what makes it
Thank
so
you.
attractive.
Thank you very much.
It really is.
Right, so as I was saying, it's like sophisticated tapas, but also in a very special way of how we're making it. We bet now for the interaction of the waiter coming and cooking special dishes at the table. Like when I was studying in a catering school many years ago, we used to do gueridon, réchaud, and sauté, and the waiter was like cooking at the table and making the flambé and these special things with the gueridon. And unfortunately, this actually went like passed over. But now we got the opportunity to recover this moment and seize that moment to bring it back, but in a special way of very dynamic. With it's not like the tie and the manners of the
it's
the
very
waiter.
natural.
It is very natural. The waiter is like cooking in front of you. They can actually do a Caesar salad in a very traditional way, making it for you. They can do a steak tartare. They can do like some guacamole in front of you.
Yeah, last week we had the guacamole, and then the lovely thing is Clemencia was just beside herself watching them making the Caesar salad and looking how they made the sauce. And that's the nice thing, because they were explaining everything. It was a lot of fun. We really had fun. It wasn't just delicious. We had a good laugh, and that interaction is a big plus.
Absolutely, and right. It is all together with different cultures of cuisine. Actually, put it in like tapas. For example, what we got behind us, there is the special sushi and sushi man. They are excellent, and I really would like you to try some of the marvelous things that they do. Or also a different type of cuisine, which is like the tandoori, Indian, or the rodizio from Brazilian.
That I love, because I've been in Argentina, been traveling in Brazil, and to have that rodizio was just, apart from delicious, it's the interaction, seeing it happen at your table.
Absolutely, but all of this is coming with a completely, it's not new concept, but it's new strategy probably that we using, and I really love, which is what are you having this meal with, and our betting in here, it is to do it with a specific cocktail making and wines by the glass. When I say wine by the glass, I mean that you can have a wine by the glass every restaurant you go, but normally you can have like 1, 2, maybe one Ribera del Duero, one Rioja if it's red wine, and that's it. But in here, we actually making for a completely different concept, which is like, let's give the opportunity to eat quality wine of many different references without have to order a bottle. You have in tapas, and you can have tapas with 3 or 4 different wines. And I'm telling you, like quality wines, like for example, a Chablis Premier Cru, a Chassa Montrachet, a Vega Sicilia, Tignanello from Italy, Chateau d'Yquem, or references that normally are like very expensive, and for 22 euros you can actually taste a very important quality wine.
That sounds
Teresa,
wonderful.
Sorry, because I think that she's...
These are the fabulous cocktails that you've been talking about.
She's preparing something for us, and I wanted you to try
And they're just so
something. What
beautiful.
we have in here, Teresa? Fruta de la Pasión mojito. We're gonna give you to
Passion
try.
fruit mojito, no less. That looks gorgeous. I love passion fruit.
Slow moment with the special decoration that we're doing here of our mixologist, and Teresa in this case is the one that I'm prepared for you, and I wanted you to taste. Some.
I'm not really sure if we're allowed to look like we're. This is obviously a non-alcoholic. I'm having a virgin one.
We did it with no alcohol. We did it with no alcohol.
No alcohol. Cheers. That's super. Oh my god, that's so good. It's so good.
Mine is very good too.
Should we start and take a look at some sushi
Absolutely.
making?
Yes,
Okay.
please. Right. So now we're here at the sushi stand where Walter, who I make him baptism for him as the magician of the sushi, is going to tell us about what he does in here and how he make it. I'll tell you something, I really love it because the type of sushi and the makis that we do in here are completely different from other places. It is specialities that he under the training of Thomas Stork with the executive chef and Sergio. They actually been improving and doing completely new things. And I would like you, Walter, to tell us what do you think that is the best specialities, or what do you do in here with the makis?
We're doing the California maki. We use the real king crab. So the quality is very nice. Everything is very good quality. We do something for surprising the customer.
Every time different. I mean, we got a menu, but we actually got like suggestions of different suggestions every day and every week of like new things that he just made up. What are you doing now? What is that?
I'm doing the California roll. So the one classic of the sushi.
But this California roll is a little bit special, right?
Because we use the king crab, the real king crab. So the taste is really nice.
I have to say that this is one of the best king crab that I've ever tasted, and because they do it with king crab, and the king crab in here that we actually use is not coming from Alaska. This king crab is coming from Norway, and the reason of coming from Norway, in case that you don't know, is because the king crab coming from Norway is better quality than the one coming from Alaska because of the plankton that they do, the clarity of the water, the how they treat the animals, and actually what at the end of the day what we're trying to say is that we're using the best suppliers ever for the best quality product. Walter, thank you very much. It looks delicious. But anyway, we will let you know in a few minutes. So we are here now at the Rodicio with Jesus. That is the one I'm actually in charge of all this charcoal. The Rodicio, it is something very typical from Brazil and South America, and it's the way of how they actually cook the meat, but not only the meat, as you can see in here, but also the vegetables. In fact, we got in here many different type of meats. This is the typical picanha. What we got in here, the chicken, the chorizo, chicken wings, but also we got the star dish, which is the pineapple that is macerated for 4 or 5 hours with the sticks. What you see, the stick over there is the real vanilla that they actually put them over there with almíbar. And this is one of the specialties that we do in here in Petit Grill, and also we also doing like some show cooking. As you can see, Rafael and Salvador, they are here actually to explain you a little bit of what they're doing. They're doing actually a steak tartare.
We are now mixing all the ingredients here to get emulsified, like to getting forgetting a mayonnaise, like a mayonnaise. And we have put the liparin sauce, Tabasco, a bit of mustard, and the olive oil and a wild egg.
Rafael, sorry, talking about the olive oil, what is this specialty of olive oil that we got in here?
This is a very special olive oil that we have get from one of the best producers here in Spain. Has been priced with a lot of prices during the last years.
Awards, yes.
Awards, sorry. And what we got here is olive oil made of the 100% hoja blanca olive. And it's really intense and fruity, and you get the best of flavors of an olive oil.
This one in particular is the brand of Puente Romano. It is coming from Priego de Córdoba, which is the best area actually where you can have like olive oil in the world and in Spain. And this one in particular is #1 in the world, and it's been in the last 10 years. It's been top 10. It's been in the top 10 in the last 10 years, and winning this award of the best olive oil in the world for 3 times already.
Here now, we are getting what we got like what we call like a mayonnaise, getting emulsionized all the ingredients. If you want to make here a plan, he is putting.
In here now we are doing the rodicchio. This is the picanha with Fernando that is actually cutting, and this is what you do in front of the guests and in front of the client. It's the typical thing that you can actually get like something completely innovative. It's an innovation here in the south of Spain.
Hey, hey, hey. Life's waves shifted.
Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the Zero Hero.
Life's waves shifted.
Unfortunately, age is something that we cannot get away from. We are all getting older. Unfortunately, also, some of the people who are getting older are on their own. And as we get older, maybe we're not quite as capable as we used to be. And that's why our community is very important. We have a lot of people who either become widowed or separated or were on their own in the first place. And when you live in a foreign country, that actually can feel quite lonely, particularly if you're feeling under the weather. We have now Age Concern Marbella and San Pedro. And thanks to that fabulous voluntary operation, there is help. Whether you want people just to come and have a chat with you, someone to go and help you do shopping, drive you to a doctor's appointment. Well, there are loads of things you could need help for. If you need help or you would like to offer your services, your time to help people who need you, please just give a call to the helpline 689 355 198. That's 689 355 198 for the helpline of Age Concern Marbella San Pedro.
Hey, hey.
One, we are at one, we are at one, we are at one. Let the music get to your heart. Let it set you on your way. No time to hesitate. We are all the same. So much trouble tearing us apart. Poison arrows shoot straight to your heart. We can change if we try. Just believe it's worth your time. One, we are at
147 nationalities are apparently now inscribed on our town hall, which is fabulous. If you haven't signed up yet, please do, because it's the only way the city gets money in to keep our street clean, to give us medical support, policing, all the things that make Marbella so wonderful, and that people like Tor here come and join us from Denmark. Sitting next to me, I have a man called Javier, who happened to go to school with our cameraman. How cool is that? So, no, it's really neat. I mean, I like that very much. And then we have Tor, who's come from Denmark, and thanks to our space and Carlos, we get to meet you today. So, Tor, Javier, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Very nice. I had no idea that you were actually a local. It's from San Pedreño.
One of the few.
Yeah. It's like authentic, real diamond, you know, a diamond in the rough. Tor, let's start with you, because I know that Javier's here through you, and you're through Carlos at Our Space, which is what makes our city tick, #better together. Tor, you've got a very exciting project. Although it is to do with real estate, you've got a whole new twist, and it seems to be really working in your favor. Tell us a bit about what your new project is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and thank you for having us
A
here on
pleasure.
the show. I've seen it a lot, and it was a pleasure to be able to come here. I founded a company with a partner of mine from Denmark in the beginning of the year, actually, where we focus on only selling new build properties on the coast. Coming from Denmark and Scandinavia, we are kind of fond of the contemporary style, and we see that people from other parts of Europe are also, you know, very fond of that new build modern style.
Exactly,
So
it's
that's
not
what we
necessarily
do.
because there's a lot of Andalus, but also like the Moro, the Arab influence into the architecture here in Andalusia, and it is now maybe getting a little bit old, Javier, in the sense of this international market is looking for this more open plan space. How do you feel it being here with us foreigners all the time? This increase of nationalities and
We're invaded.
it kind of is now.
Yes, but now it's very, very normal. I mean, when I arrived here in 1981, first time, because I'm San Pedreño, but I came back to the roots, but I came from France actually. Weren't I, Javier at school? We were like, what, 2, 3 foreigners maybe? That was it. And we were the whole pack of Spaniards at school. But yeah, it has changed a lot. And lately we're seeing, we're undergoing a different experience in terms of style and the kind of property that people is looking for. It's very different now. It's very different. We love the Marbella style. We love the traditional style. But you have a public for everything, and there is a certain demand now for more practicity and more features or high standards of specs that you look for in a property that you want to enjoy.
Tor, what are people looking for when you get this new, younger? It's nice because it keeps our city invigorated with this completely refreshing. The Danish are your objective target, or are you looking for any nationality that is looking for something new?
I'm actually, my background is from Denmark. I used to own a marketing agency in Denmark, and I sold that a couple of years ago.
You sold that? Let's stop there.
Okay.
To sell a company means that you were doing well. Can we know
Yeah.
some of what you did in your marketing company, that someone wanted to buy you out?
I've done online businesses for 15 years now. And the last 5 years before I moved here with my lovely wife and my daughter Augusta, who is 3 years old.
Hello, Augusta. Hello, lovely wife.
I sold an agency. I used to work for companies like Google, IBM, eBay, and a lot of Danish companies, but all somebody who had international reach. So I'm like the marketing nerd. I do all the numbers. I know how to get on Google. I sometimes show up in your Facebook feed. I'm sorry, but I do that. So I know a little bit about how to get attention from international clients. And I think that's what I bring to the table in our business.
So you are in heaven in Marbella with 147 nationalities. Literally, the world is your oyster. You know how to bring them in.
Yeah, exactly. What I try to do is to gather all that is new built on the coast. So we did a lot of work. We actually have 180 different developments on the coast right now. And then I obviously wanted to partner up with some very experienced guys. So even though we are, only 6 months in the company, together we have like 50 years of experience within the real estate sector. So I just try to bring opportunities to my partners, and I try to measure the success that we have based upon how the agents and the partners that I have, they are doing. And to give you a little insight maybe, we have a couple of agents. They've been with us from the beginning, if I can say.
Yes,
they make between 10 and 20,000 euros a month in salary. We have a couple of agents that has just sold their first properties, and we have a couple of agents that are new. Now we are 6 in total, but I think we're doing quite fine. But it's, from my perspective, I have lived a rough life working a lot. And I really wanted to come here to the coast with my family to be able to live a different type of life.
It looks like you're achieving that. You happy with the move so far?
Oh, I'm so happy with it.
And the family is settling and adapting?
We are so happy. We love the way that we can balance work and life. It's such a pleasure seeing my wife and my daughter, how they feel when they are here. Also myself, the presence you can have with your family when you come home from work, it all depends upon how stressed you've been during the day. And here there is a much better balance. So I really hope that at the end that we can offer our clients, who has probably worked hard the majority of their life, a new foundation for a new life, as I just am starting to learn myself. So that's our end goal, actually, to try to make people happier, give them a new opportunity in life. And we know that they deserve it because they've worked a lot to get where they are, to be able to afford a property maybe for €1 million or more here. So I really respect that and hope to be able to give them something that they can make them happy for the rest of their life.
Well, when you do something with enthusiasm and passion, it does tend to be very successful. Javier, for you, obviously, Tor's not been here that long. Do you find, from your experience, that his approach is different? How are you finding this change in what Tor is adding to our Marbella community?
Well, the proof I have found the idea and the concept really stunning. It's because I was already working for other agencies before, traditional ones, and I made a bet on this one. I like the concept. I was quite happy where I was, but I honestly like the concept very much. I understand very well. We to understand our business, we need to be very clear and understand something that you, Nicole, as you've been here for a long time, you know very well. That we have been undergoing here very, very crazy times of big booms and sales with no control at all, from 2000 to 2006-07. And then there was a big crisis, a big credit crunch that really put the whole world, also our city, in a difficult time. So what happened is that in the times of the big boom, most developers were building, I'm not going to say most, but many developers have built very, very quick, very fast, and everything was selling anyway, at really ridiculous prices. So the quality of the constructions, we believe that many of these buildings that are now 15 years, 12 years old, they're aging not so well. So it's not only about the style and the traditional, it's also about the quality. Some of them are even illegal, as you know. They're still not in the plan, in the urbanistic plan of Marbella. And then everything stopped. The crisis came and no construction at all. Everything stopped. So the fact is that at the moment, the choices of properties that you can find in here are either old buildings, 15 years old, beyond, or 12 years, something like this. As I mentioned, aging not so well, or some of them have good quality. I'm not saying all of them, but many of them are not so. They have some kind of lack of quality. So either this choice, or then you go for new. So there's nothing in between, nothing in the middle. So obviously for us, we believe there's a very, very big difference. Besides, the standards of constructions built before are totally different to the ones that developers are using now. Now where they're using more porcelain, aerothermia, they speak about technologies that we didn't know before. So there's a huge difference. It's two different products basically.
It really is. Now the client is so much more demanding. They want so much more ease, commodity, comfort, that you can leave, come back. The simplicity of life, is that what the new build offers? Or what is the benefits of going for a new build?
I would say that the benefits for new builds is obviously the first impression you have looking online for a new property in Costa del Sol. That's the style, the architecture. So obviously the contemporary style, the open windows, open kitchens, the modern way of living, that is the first priority. I also believe that the area is growing. When you fly into Malaga Airport and when you look down at the city and how it has evolved over time, you can see that Costa del Sol in general is growing, and it's going to continue on growing. So you have an opportunity with new builds to invest in a property in an area that is under construction and evolving, and that will give you for the future a area where you will have more amenities, where you will have things closer by than what it might appear as today. But you will also have the quietness and be more private than living directly here on the beach side in Marbella. So I think that most of our clients, they look for something that is private. They look for something where they can relax. Maybe a little bit up in the mountains, a little bit in the nature. So that's also something they look for.
The nice thing is seeing the new people coming to Marbella with the people from the city joining together, because it is that mix of knowledge that you know the area, that you know where people according to their requirements is best, and that you have this new information from coming from another country and what you've been doing and putting it all together to make Marbella better. And that makes it better for people to live here and also for the people to come and visit. It's been a pleasure meeting you, Mr. San Pedro.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Javier's classmate, that's so cool. And Tor, really nice to meet you. Well, we've met before, but actually have a chance to know more about your business. Congratulations. And look forward to hearing a lot more from both of you.
Thank you very much, Nicole. It was a pleasure to be here.
It's been a lot of fun, very interesting.
Thanks.
Please find me a nice new house.
I will.
Frontline Beach.
Okay, sure.
The weeks are flying by. We are well into the summer and there is so much going on. Please go to our Town Hall official website, marbellaexclusive.com, because there you have all the information of what's going on in our city and you won't miss out on a thing. Also our website, MarbellaNowTV.com, for copies of this program, Me Marbella Radio, and my column in the Euro Weekly News. Between everything, we hope that you really do make the most of everything that's happening in our city. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Marbella Now. In the meanwhile, please take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. Remember, we can help each other. We don't have to compete. We are better together. Hasta la semana que viene. Adiós.
It's a brand new